Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for joining tonight's class on the MIAD 805, which is on the Middle East. And tonight we will try to discuss the Module 1 and the Module 2, possibly, and cover Module 3 if time permits us. But in case the time doesn't permit us, we'll proceed with the Module 3 tomorrow and then three past questions tomorrow. So, MIAD 805, as I said, is a concept, is a topic, a course rather, that focuses on the event that happened in the Middle Eastern part of the world. So in the first module, it's just an introduction to the Middle East for us to understand what the Middle East itself is, and also it introduced us to the creation of the state of Israel. Now, without wasting much of our time, we'll proceed by taking them one after the other. And in case you have any question, you can ask me while I'm still progressing, and then we'll proceed. Sorry, I think I'm not seeing myself well. Just bear with me. I want to. Okay, it's okay now. It should be okay. It should be okay. Now, the Middle East, that's a Middle East area study. So the Middle East is known as the cradle of civilization. That is where anything we call civilization comes from. So when you're in the Middle East, just know that it's the cradle of civilization, because some of the world earliest development or civilization came from that side of the world. Understand? So when you talk about the Mesopotamia, the Constantinople, and all that, the Persian era, so you just have to know that when we talk about even writing, understand? Look at Egypt, for instance. Now you see the pharaohs. How do you call pyramid and the likes? So you just wonder, even up to date, they are still wondering how people in the Middle East were able to build such things. So the Middle East is known as a cradle of civilization, that is the bedrock of civilization. And this region has been very important in the global politics. That is why we are studying it. There are three major reasons why it has been very important in global politics. The first reason is its strategic location. The Middle East is a strategic location in global politics. It helps to facilitate the transaction, like transaction of business between the Africa, Asia, and Europe. So the Middle East, where the Middle East is situated, it makes it easier for business for transaction or ship route to be easy for the Middle East to the Asia, to Europe, to Africa. That's the first reason why it is very important to study it in the global politics. If today people in the Middle East decided to block the road, understand? They block the sea, that they don't want any ship to pass through them. There's going to be catastrophe in all over the world, because from Europe you can transfer your goods from Europe to Asia to the Middle East, or from Asia to Europe, or from Africa to Asia. So that is number one. Strategic location is very strategic in world politics. Why number two is the Middle East has its vast oil and gas reserve. Understand? When we talk about oil and gas, they have enormous oil and gas in that part of the world. So, oil and gas is a tradable asset, is a tradable product in world politics. Any country that have oil or gas is well respected in the world politics. So the Middle East has this reserve that is too much. So that is why the global powers are much interested in this part of the world, and why the last part is the Middle East serve as the birthplace of major religious leaders. When we talk major religion, let me just put it like that. When we talk about Islam, when we talk about Christianity or Judaism, they came from that part of the world. That is why it is very important. As students study international affairs and diplomacy, you should be able to know much about the Middle East, because some of the things that happen in the Middle East also affect the international politics. You understand? But before you understand the Middle East, you need to understand the historical development of the Middle East. Understand? The historical development of the Middle East. Understand? I mentioned that the Middle East is a cradle of civilization because that is where writing started. When you talk about writing things, that is where it started. And you believe that that is where it started. And the system of government and the system of farming, that is where it was more developed. So it is believed that the white people, understand, they copy it from that part of the world. You understand? So that is number one. And aside from the Middle East being the cradle of civilization, there are a lot of empire. Understand? There are a lot of empire that that erupt from that part of the world. Understand? We have the Assyrian Empire, the Persian Empire, the Greek Empire, the Roman Empire. So this empire also have their own season in this part of the world. Listen. So when you are talking about the story of the Middle East, after talking about the cradle of civilization like the Egypt and the Sumerian and being the where writing, government, farming started, you need to talk about the empire that erupted from that started from that area, like the Persian, the Greek Empire, the Persian Empire, the Assyrian Empire, and the Roman Empire. You understand? But after the era of the empire, you need to see even in Nigeria, even in Nigeria, there was a time we had Sokoto Caliphate, there was a time we have the Oyo Empire, and so all these things happened. There were era that it also happened in the part of the Middle East, understand? So after that part, we have the expansion of the Islamic era. The expansion of the Islamic era started from the 17th century AD. Understand? That was when there was rapid emergence of Islam in the Middle East. Understand? So Middle East, Islam spread rapidly in the Middle East at the 7th century AD. Understand? But during that period, sorry, we said 7th century AD, right? After that period comes the Ottoman Empire, the Ottoman period. Understand? The Ottoman Empire, I hope I'm not too fast. The Ottoman Empire or the Ottoman period was from the 1300 to the 1918. So you can see 1300, 1300 to 1918. So the Ottoman Empire was 1300 to the 1918. And the Ottoman Empire dominated the Middle East for a long time. You understand? So look at where we come from. We come from the cradle of civilization started from the Middle East, and we come to the empire era, whereby the Greek, the Syria, the Persian, the Roman Empire, and we now come to the Islamic expansion era at the 7th century. After that, then we come to the Ottoman Empire between the 1300 to the 1918, where they dominated the Middle East for centuries. But after the Ottoman Empire collapsed, come the colonial period. Understand? The colonial period started after World War One. That is when the Ottoman Empire collapsed. Understand? So then the Britain and the France divided the Middle East into two. Understand? So this created the beginning of modern border in the Middle East. But before the colonial era, there was no modern border in the Middle East. So, like before during the Ottoman Empire or the Persian Empire or the Greek Empire, there was no border. So, a leader can be governing all the area or a larger part of the area. But because of the colonial era, the creation of modern border has been established. Understand now? If you can just write it somewhere and do your research, the Berlin Conference. Understand now? It happened in the Berlin Conference where they try to divide Africa. Understand? Not only in Africa, even some part of Asia, where they divide it and share it among themselves. Understand? That was after the World War One. Understand? But after the colonial empire come the modern era, which is the era we are currently. The modern era started with the discovery of oil. That was when we knew where the importance of oil, the importance of gas. So, and the modern era, aside from the creation or the discovery of oil, comes in with the creation of the state of Israel in 1948. That is, Israel was created in 1948. And aside from that one, there were repeated conflicts between the Arabs and Israel from that 1948 till today, 2025. There are repeated conflict between the Arabs and Israel. So historically, the Middle East is important in world politics. You understand? Based on what I just explained as the history of the Middle East. Now, geographically, when we talk about the Middle East, geographically, the Middle East includes countries like Saudi Arabia, Iran, Iraq, Israel, Egypt, Syria, Jordan, Lebanon, Turkey, and the other Gulf states. You understand? I repeat myself, geographically, when you talk about the Middle East, when you hear Middle East, just put it in your mind that they are talking about countries like Saudi Arabia, Iran, Iraq, Israel, Egypt, Syria, Jordan, Lebanon, Turkey, and the other Gulf states. Understand? So, so in terms of geography, you just have to know that the Middle East has some major sea. You understand now? So I said it is strategically located in a place that link Africa to Asia and Asia to Europe. So just think about why is it that people find it very easier to travel by boat to Europe through Libya? Understand? Because that place is very close to Libya. Even from Morocco, you can be seeing Spain in the other part from Morocco. There's a place in Morocco, if you just sit down, you'll be seeing Spain in the other part. So, but the only thing you just need boats to pass it. That's why most people prefer to travel through the Mediterranean Sea, because the Mediterranean Sea in the Middle East that is only the Mediterranean Sea divided the Middle East from the how do you call it, to Europe. So strategically, it's very important. And so we know the culture of the Middle East. Understand? So the religion and the culture, it is believed that they are only Muslims that are there. Islam religion, but it is not Islam religion. Even Islam religion that is there is not only Islamic religion that is there. Islamic religion that is there is also divided into two. You have the Shia and we have the Sunni. Understand now? So Muslims that are there in the Middle East, they are divided into two. They have two doctrine or two ideology. The Shia ideology and the Sunni ideology. Understand? And we have Christianity there. We have Judaism there. So because that is where all this religion started. Understand? When we talk about Muslim or Muslim ideology, Christian ideology, or Jewish ideology, that is where it started in the Middle East part of the world. And the language. So although they speak Arabic language, but you just have to know that it's not only Arabic they speak. Understand? They speak Turkish, they speak Hebrew, and they speak Persian language. So these are things you need to also understand about the Middle East, because without understanding without understanding the structure of the Middle East, it is going to be very difficult for you to understand the concept or topics that we'll be explaining in this class. So politically, how important is the Middle East to international issues? The number one thing you have to know, politically, the Middle East is often unstable due to religions and ethnic differences. There are three major religions there: Islam, Christianity, and the Judaism. So due to these three religions, there are a lot of conflict there. So it has been a source of concern to global powers that why must they be fighting every time? Understand? So, and also there is disputes over land. So which means you can see the Arabs are fighting Israel every time. That is, the dispute is because of the land they have in that area. And also there have been foreign influences in the zone. The global power have been influencing the zone a lot. Understand? Because of what? They are interested in the how do you call it? In the oil of that area. they are interested in the oil and the security in that area. So the global influences have been there, which make that part of the world very unstable politically. And when we talk about when we talk about USA, Russia, and Britain, they've played major role in that part of the world because that part of the world has a large reservoir of a large reserve of oil and gas. Understand? So most of them have military base there. So it is believed that if they decide to end the war today, it might not be in their profit. If all Arab country, all Middle East country decided to be friends today, it's going to affect most parts of the European country. So why the Middle East matters in international affairs, as I said, number one, it influenced global energy price. Understand? So if there is crisis in the Middle East part of the world, the energy price in the whole world will increase. Understand? It will increase. Because of what, there is not going to be a smooth transportation of gas from that part of the world. And when there is no smooth transportation of that part of the world, transportation is going to be increased. People are going to risk their life. So those marketers involved in this business are going to increase the price. So they influence the global price of energy. And number two, they shape world security. The middle parts of the world shape world security. You understand? So today you see the ISIS that is in the Middle East part of the world. They have a branch in Nigeria. They have a branch in Burkina Faso and Mali. You understand? Those that they said they want to create Islamic State. You understand? So terrorism, most part of the terrorism that started there has spread across the border. So those people that attended 805 of Dr. Saminu, we were discussing that most of these terrorists from that part of the world, they have satellite branch in another country. They have it in Mozambique, Somalia, and Nigeria. They have it there. Understand? So because of this security matter, terrorism, refugees, and war matter in that part of the world, it has been a point of concern to global power. Because if they don't curb them, they are going to be spreading and causing more chaos in the world. Understand? And number three is that it is the Middle East is important in global politics because it is a central topic to diplomacy and peace negotiation. So when you say it is a central topic to diplomacy and peace negotiation, you just have to note that since the Middle East country, since the creation of the State of Israel, there have been negotiation upon negotiation, agreement, treaty, accord upon accord, because anything that happened in the world rather, has happened there before. Anything that happened in the world, there you can have a case study of that thing in the world. For instance, now you want to talk about the banditry in Nigeria. Banditry has happened there. You want to talk about terrorism in Burkina Faso. Terrorism has happened there. You want to talk about land dispute in that part of the world. It has happened another place also. You understand? So which means that when you talk about the Middle East, it is a central topic when you talk about diplomacy and negotiation. Understand? Because there have been some laws that happen there that is applicable to the global policy itself. I'm being talkative enough, but if you want to ask a question, kindly ask a question before I proceed, please. Question before I proceed. Can I proceed?
Yes, please proceed.
Thank you very much. Now, we want to talk about the creation of the State of Israel, how Israel was created. This time, I'm not talking about the Israel that is in the Bible, but I'm talking about the State of Israel that it is currently existence. Understand now? So, how the State of Israel was created. Understand? You need to first know the background. Understand? You need to first know the background of how it was created. It was created due to a movement. Israel was created due to a movement called the Zionism movement. Zionism, like Zion, Zionism, Zionism, Zionism movement. Understand? So, what is Zionism? Understand? What is Zionism? Zionism is the movement among Jews. You understand? We are not saying movement among Christians here. We are not saying among Muslims here. We are saying the movement among Jews to return to their ancestral homeland. The movement among Jews to return to their ancestral homeland. That homeland is Palestine. Understand? And establish a Jewish state. That is a country that is going to be inhabited by only the Jew. They believe that the current Palestine is a land that has been promised to them. It's a promised land to them. So when you say Zionism, the movement among the Jews to return to their ancestral land. When you say your ancestral land, my own ancestral land is in Osun State. So every one of us has ancestral land. So they believe that they need to return back to their base, and their base is the current Palestine, which means that Palestine was part of the Ottoman Empire. And I discussed that the Ottoman Empire was between 1300 and 1918. So Palestine was part of the Ottoman Empire. But the Jews believe that the land Palestine is occupying today belong to them. They might have a point. You understand now? No one is arguing that they might not have a point. They might have a point because there have been several wars. We have Greek Empire, we have Persian Empire, we have Roman Empire, we have Ottoman Empire. All these empires, there have been wars. So to them, they believe that they've been there before, but because of all this war, they chase them away. So Palestine, the current Palestine, is a land that belongs to them. That is their own belief. Understand that? But the Zionism movement, you know, in Nigeria, there is what we call nationalism movement in Nigeria. Nationalism movement was done by Alhaji Tafawa Balewa, Amadou Sadona Sokoto, Amadou Bello, Awolowo, Nnamdi Azikiwe, all of them. And so there are many. So nationalism movement means that they want freedom. They want Nigeria to be free. The country wants to be governed by the people living in the country, not by outsiders. So that is about the nationalism movement. But the Zionism movement is that all Jews that have been all over the world, they should come back to Palestine, as that is their ancestral land. And it begins in the 1800s. Understand now? 1800s, 1800s. That is where it began. That movement began, and it started with a man. His name is Theodor Herzl. Theodor is a Theodor, Theodor, and Herzl is Herl. Understand now? So Theodor Herzl, as a man, is the man that carries that Zionism movement in his head and is calling on all the Jews. Why did he call on all the Jews to return to Palestine? He called on all the Jews to return to Palestine because the Jews were persecuted in Europe. Jews were across all European countries. We are having MIAD 803. Which lecture, please? Which lecturer? MIAD 803. Which lecturer? What is today's date? Okay, today's Friday. I don't have class. If you have class, you can go. Don't worry. You'll have the recording. I don't have class. So
mine is by 8.
Okay, no problem. By 8, you can just go, and I'll continue. So I was saying, the Zionism movement started in the 1800s, where Theodor Herzl called on all the Jews to return back to their ancestral land that is the current Palestine. And he called them because the Jews were persecuted in Europe. They were mostly living in all parts of Europe. Listen, that like they don't have like a stable country. They were all most part of Europe. So this man called on that movement. You understand? The same way Southern of Sokoto, Amadou Bello, and other nationalists in Nigeria. Other nationalist leader. Understand now? We have Southern of Sokoto, Amadou Bello. We have Tafawa Balewa and Nnamdi Azikiwe, Awolowo. The way they call on Nigerians to be united so that we can get our independence, that is the same way this man called on all the Jews to return to the land they call the Palestine, that they believe that it is their ancestral land. You understand now? So now, how was Israel created? How was Israel created? In this course, I'll just implore every one of you, don't let us put it that Israel is the one mentioned in the Quran, not the one mentioned in the Bible. No, we are not talking about that one. We are talking about the current Israel, now. So how was Israel created? Now, before 1917, Palestine was part of the Ottoman Empire, as I said, you understand? But in 1917, there was a declaration made by the British, and that declaration was called the Balfour Declaration. The Balfour is spelled B-A-L-F-O-U-R. B-A-L-F-O-U-R. The Balfour Declaration of 1917. The Balfour Declaration of 1917 is the one that caused the problem. So the Balfour Declaration of 1917 says that British promised to support the Jewish homeland in Palestine. British, they know that Palestine are in all parts of Europe. But because of the Zionism movement, British decided to support the Jews to create a Jewish state in Palestine. Understand? So between 1920 and 1940, British continued to rule over this land, this Middle East part of, I said, when in the historical development, I've mentioned in the historical development that after the Ottoman Empire comes in the colonial era before the modern era. So in the colonial era, the British and the France were in the Middle East. So between 1920 and 1940, the British continued to rule in that part of area. But as they continue to rule, there have been conflict upon conflict between the Arabs and the Jews. You understand? There have been conflict between the Arabs and the Jews. But in 1947, during the United Nations meeting, they did a partition. Understand? They divided the land of Palestine. In 1947, they divided the land of Palestine, and they did a resolution, and that resolution was called Resolution 181. That is an agreement 181, Resolution 181. That was done in the United Nations General Meeting in 1947, and they decided to divide Palestine into two. They give 55% of the land to Israel, while they give 45% of the land to Palestine. Understand? So they divide Palestine into a Jewish state and Arab state. That is, the Jewish state is Israel, the Arab state is Palestine. Understand? But when they did the division, they now say that Jerusalem and Bethlehem, they are going to be under the guidance of the international community. Understand? Because of its importance to Islam, Christianity, and Judaism. So they divide the country into two: 55% to Jew, 45% to Palestine in 1945. Understand? In a resolution they call Resolution 181. Understand? So when they did that one, that was in 1947, right? In 1948, Israel, on May 14, 1948, Israel decided to declare its independence. That was where Wahala started. Understand? Because when they divided Palestine and Israel, 55-45, there was still Wahala because the Arabs were not, please, if you are here, kindly mute your mic. So the Arab did not come. The Arab.
Sorry, I wanted to get something. Sorry for cutting you short. You said, is it 1945?
1947. The UN
Okay,
partition.
47. No, because you said 45 before, so that was why I...
Okay.
1947.
Okay, thank you. So Israel got its independence on May 14, 1948, where it declared the independent state of of Israel. Understand? Immediately they declared that independent. The next day, the Arab countries bombarded them. Understand? These Arab countries were Egypt, Syria, Jordan, Iraq, and Lebanon. They invaded Israel immediately, and that started the first Arab and Jew war. Understand? But As they did that thing, Israel won the battle, which make Israel to expand its territory. Over 700,000 Palestinians were displaced. Son, over seven. I'm coming. Yeah, okay. You want to ask a question?
On the Arab countries again. Sorry.
The Arab country: Egypt, Syria, Iraq, Jordan, Lebanon. Egypt, Syria, Jordan, Iraq, Lebanon. They invaded Israel because before Israel declared the independence, they were still clash, but not war. Clash because the Arab did not agree. They did not support Palestine to take 45% and Israel will take 55% of the land. So they believe that at least if there's going to be a partition, it should be 50-50. If not, that Palestine should take 55 and Israel take 45. But if not, that Palestine should take, it should be 50-50. That was crisis. But because Israel declared independent in May 1947, that make the war to start. Understand now? That make the first war between them to start. Understand? So now, what was the challenge of Palestine? Understand? Like what the Palestine faced after the first war that if they did. We are going to explain all this war in the subsequent module, but I just want to explain the context that happened during the war, during the creation of the state of Israel. Understand? There was three major things that happened to Palestine as a challenge. The first thing that the war created 700,000 Palestinian refugees, which they call Al-Nakba. Nakba. Those people that did the quiz, you will see they put it there. Nakba. 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 So it created a Nakba. Nakba means catastrophe. The catastrophe. So 700,000 Palestinians was displaced, which means Israel to have more land. Israel took more than the 55% that was given to Israel by the United Nations. Israel took more than that. Understand? So the number two is that Israel occupied more land while Palestine were left in the West Bank and Gaza Strip only. It's like they're chasing you from your land and they are leaving you with just a part of your land. So they left Palestine with the West Bank and the Gaza Strip. Gaza. We all know here about Gaza, yeah? So Gaza, Gaza. Mumina want to ask a question. Ask a question.
Hello.
Yeah, hiya.
Okay, Israel, Jews, what is the difference? I don't understand.
What?
Israel, you have been saying, oh, Israel came back to the land of Palestine. They gave them 5% of the land. So what is Israel? What is Jews?
Can anyone explain what she's saying? Because I can't hear her well.
Oh, okay.
I can't hear you well, to be sincere.
Okay, I'll just type it. I'll type it.
Okay. I think I can hear Israel. I can hear Palestine.
The difference between Israel, Jews, and Palestine.
Okay, Israel is Jew.
Okay.
Jew is a religion, Judaism. It comes from Judaism.
Okay.
You understand now?
Because I'm on the road.
Okay. Judaism. So people practicing Judaism are Jew. The way people practicing Muslim religion are Muslim and Islamic religion are Muslim. Are you okay with that? Can I proceed?
Yes, thank you. Please proceed.
Thank you very much. So the challenge the Palestinian face, the first one is the displace of 700,000 Palestinians, which caused what we call the Nakba or al-Nakba, which is a catastrophe. While the second thing is that Israel occupied more land, leaving Palestinians with only the Gaza Strip and the West Bank. And the third one is that since then, there have been multiple war and uprising as Palestinians demand an independent state. Palestine have been demanding to be independent since that period till today, 2025. They are not giving Palestine independence. Understand? So, what is the political impact of this thing? So political impact of this thing is that Israel became a democratic state, but it has been facing a lot of tension or a lot of war from its neighbor. In 2025, I think Iran, yeah, is it Iran or Iraq? It is Iran. Iran bombarded them, and they bombarded Iran. So, which means every year there have been war upon war. They also bombarded some of the neighbors. They bombarded some countries that are neighbors to them. So that means they are democratic states, but what they are facing is even more than military, because they have been facing tension between they themselves and their neighbor. Let me move this person now. Aside from that one, political impact of this thing is that the Arab refused to recognize Israel as a democratic or an independent state. Understand? They refuse to recognize Israel as a democratic and independent state. And that is why you've been seeing them that sometimes you just see the news. If you put it on Al Jazeera, in a week, they must mention Palestine in a week in Al Jazeera news. Understand? So now, the United Nations and also the United Nations and the US, they've tried to find peace. Understand now? They're trying to find peace among these countries, these countries, but unfortunately, the peace has not been successful enough. They tried to do some, some agreement. And as part of the agreement, was the Camp David Accord. Camp David Accord was in 1979. It was between Israel and Egypt, because Egypt was taking more lead than even Palestine. Egypt fought almost all the war. Listen, so the Camp David Accord of 1979 was one of the first agreement they signed to see if there can be peace in the Middle East, but that one failed. They also went forward to create what we call the Oslo Accord. Oslo is the OSLO, Oslo Accord of 1993. Understand? So Oslo Accord of 1993 is to let the Palestinian organization recognize Israel as an independent state. We have a Palestinian organization, a force they call Palestinian Liberation Organization. So in Oslo organization, they make Palestinian Liberation Organization, the PLO, Palestinian Liberation Organization, to recognize Israel as an independent state. Understand? But this thing failed. Understand? This thing failed. Because it has failed, that is why there have been wars since the creation of Israel. So what you just have to know is that you need to know the meaning of Zionism. You need to know what happened in Balfour or Balfour Declaration. You need to know the meaning of Nakba. You need to know what happened in Resolution 181. You need to know the Intifada, the uprising. You understand now? That is the Palestinian uprising. So this is the major thing you need to know in Module 1. I've been able to cover Module 1 for you just like that. Can we proceed with Module 2? If you have questions, you can ask questions.
Well done.
Thank you. Can we proceed with Module 2? Question, how can we proceed? Okay, we'll proceed now. I think somebody sent a message. Let me check. We are having MIAD 803 and the lecture has started. Oh, Kayode. I think some of you have a class with Kayode module. I think they said the lecture has started. You can go if the lecture has started. We will continue.
Hey, that's like Ramu.
We will continue. So if you have the class, you can continue. We will continue. Now, we'll proceed with Module 2. You understand? Module 2. In Module 2, we will try to analyze the Arab response towards the creation of the state of Palestine, Israel, rather. Understand? And we'll try to analyze what was the Arab response to this issue. Understand? Why the Arab and Israel war happened, and what major war occurred between the Arab and the Israel, and what has been the effect of this war to both sides of the world. Understand? Now, background, why the war happened? Why did they first start the war? So that's the background. See, after the creation of the state of Israel in 1948, Arab countries felt deeply betrayed. The Arabs, they felt deeply betrayed. You understand? Because they felt deeply betrayed on three counts or three motion. The first motion is that Palestine was a land inhabited mostly by the Arab for centuries. Remember that I told you that Palestine was part of the Ottoman Empire. So Palestine was habited by the Arabs before the creation of Israel. That is number one. That's one, the first count. The second count is that the United Nations in 1947 divided Palestine into two. Understand? They call it one state of Israel, the Jewish state, which is the state of Israel, while the Arab state, which is Palestine. That's the second thing that make the Arab to be vexed in, to be angry. That's the second thing. Why the third thing is that Jew accepted the UN partition resolution 818, but the Arab rejected it because they saw it to be unfair. Why is Palestine taking 55% of the land and the Arab taking 45% of the land? So the Arab against it, while the Jew supported it, the Israel supported it. Understand now? So because of that one, they believe that they've been robbed. The Arabs believe that they've been robbed. So when Palestine declared an independent state of Palestine in May 14, 1948, the countries I mentioned, Egypt, Jordan, Syria, Lebanon, Iraq, immediately attacked Israel. This make the war to start. And so now we'll talk about the first war, second war, and the fourth war. And the last two war, you read about it yourself. War number one, the first war. The name of the war number one is called the Independent War, or the War of Independence. That was the name of their first war they fought. And you know that first war was fought because Palestine declared itself as an independent state of... Israel declared itself as an independent state of Israel. So the first war they fought was between 1948 to 1949. Understand? 1948 to 1949. The causes of the war. The number one causes of the war is that Arab refused to accept the creation of Israel. They refused to accept the creation of Israel. That's the first cause of the war. Understand? The second cause of the war is that they wanted to stop the Jewish state and protect Palestine. The Arabs believe that Palestine is a border. So they want to protect Palestine. They want to support Palestine, and they wanted to stop the creation of the state of Israel. Understand? So these two reasons make them to fight a war with Israel. Understand? These two reasons make them to fight a war. When I say Israel, I mean with the Jews. Understand? So make them to fight a war with Israel. What are the events that occur during this war? There are three major events that occur during this war. The number one is that 5 Arab nations invaded Israel a day after it declared independence. So 5 countries that I've mentioned, Egypt, Jordan, Syria, Lebanon, and Iraq, these 5 countries invaded Israel and bombarded Israel. But the second thing that happened is that there was a lot of crises that happened during this period in Palestine. But why the third one is that Israel outnumbered them. Imagine 5 countries facing 1 country. So 5 Arab countries facing only Israel, but Israel won the war. So Israel outnumbered them, and because Israel outnumbered them, because Israel was better organized, and so they were better organized, so they outnumbered the 5 Arab country that invaded them, and this make Israel to expand its territory beyond the plan that was given to him by the United Nations. Now, what are the consequences of this war? The number one consequences of this war is that Israel won the war and expanded its territory, which means Palestine is losing momentum. So Israel won Israel won the war and expanded its territory. And number two thing that happened, the consequences of that war is that 700,000 Palestinians, they fled away from their land. They were refugees. They were displaced from their land. And this is called Nakba, which I've mentioned, the catastrophe. You understand? It's called a catastrophe. And the third thing is that Jordan took control of the West Bank and Egypt took control of the Gaza Strip. Remind that I told you that Israel occupied more land than what was given to them by the United Nations, but leave only two important areas to Palestine, the Gaza Strip and the West Bank. So since Palestinians were displaced, Jordan and Egypt, they share these two land on the same to be protecting it. So Jordan took over West Bank, while Egypt took over Gaza Strip. This is about the first war they fought in the Middle East. Am I communicating? If you have questions, you can ask me a question. Am I communicating? Question? Question? Can I proceed? Can I proceed?
Yes, please, you can proceed.
Okay, thank you. I just need to be sure that people are here. It's not going to be like I'm the only one speaking since. Now, the second war they fought, the second war. I said today I'm going to talk about 4 wars. So I've talked about the first one. The second war. The second war was fought in 1956. Understand? That war is called Suez Canal Crisis. Suez is spelled S-U-E-Z. Suez. S-U-E-Z. Suez. Canal is spelled C-A-N-A-L. Suez Canal Crisis. For you to understand this war of 1956, you need to understand what is the meaning of Suez Canal. You understand now? In Nigeria, we have River Niger, you have River Benue. You understand now? River Niger, River Benue, they can serve as a means of transportation from one area to another area. The same thing is applicable to the Suez Canal. The Suez Canal is a strategic area in the Middle East. Understand? Suez Canal is a man-made watering, how do you call it? Waterway. It's a man-made waterway. Understand now? It's like a river, but it is a man-made river. Understand? But it is in Egypt. It was made in Egypt. That waterway they created, that river that was created by man, it connects the Mediterranean Sea to the Red Sea. It connects the Mediterranean Sea to the Red Sea. And it is in Egypt. You understand? It is also known as the shortcut, understand now? It's also known as the shortcut of ship. Shortcut of ship, like big boat, ships. Understand now? So it's known as the shortcut of ship. When I say ship is S-H-I-P-S. S-H-I-P-S. So shortcut of ship. So because it helps ship to easily move from Africa to Asia, from Asia to Europe. You understand now? So instead of a ship, I will explain. So instead of you to carry goods from Europe and pass through South Africa before you can deliver it in Nigeria, you can pass through the Suez Canal easily. It's going to go straight forward to Nigeria, not going to do bigger round before you get to where you are going. Understand? Why is the Suez Canal very important? Why is it important? And why are they fighting because of the Suez Canal? Understand? Now, just imagine that you are going from Europe to Asia. You know Europe if you look at the map, a world map, you will see where Europe is, you will see where Asia is. And they are like one on the opposite side of the world. So that you are now moving from Europe to Asia. Let me give you an example now. From Italy, you are moving from Italy to India. Understand? Without the Suez Canal, without that man-made waterway, your ship will move all the way from that Italy that you have. It will move down to Cape Town. It will move down to our South Africa area. Now, which is going to cost you more money. It's going to more stress and more time. But because of the Suez Canal, it links the country easily. That is, the Suez Canal is in Egypt, but it makes you to link one country from the Middle East to Asia, from Asia to Europe, from Europe to Africa. You understand? So that means it is very important in business. So it's a global highway for ship, and it's valuable and strategic. Because if business wants to be done between the Africa and Europe and Asia, that part of the world is very important. Which means if Egypt block it, there is not going to be transaction of goods and services from Egypt, from Asia to Europe, from Europe to understand. But nowadays, because of airplane, not everything can be transported by plane. That's why we are sea cargo. So if you want to make the transportation of your goods very easy and smooth, that Suez Canal is very, very important. Now, the Suez Canal crisis, it started in 1956. Listen, the crisis started in 1956. The president of Egypt, his name was Gamal Abdel Nasser. Gamal Abdel Nasser. So Gamal is Gamal. Gamal Abdel, Abdel, Nasser, Nasser. Gamal Abdel Nasser in 1956 said that the canal is in our country. Understand? When the canal is in our country, which means that the canal is in Egypt, and we will take control over it. That statement that he made mention caused that war. Understand? Because that canal was in control by the British and the French. The British and the French collect money from it. So any ship that passes through that area must pay tax duty for passing through that area. So the British and the French were in control of it. So they were angry because the president, Gamal Abdel Nasser, said that canal is in their country and they must take control over it. So it make the British and the British and the French very angry. Understand? Because that canal make them to have money. They get money from that canal. You understand? So because of that one, the war broke. The war broke. Israel also joined them. Israel joined the France and the British to fight this war because Egypt was blocking Israel shipping. The ship Israel to carry. Let's say Israel want to transport any good, maybe from Israel to Italy, for instance. That place was blocked by Egypt. Egypt blocked it. That Israel is not going to move again. That their ship in that canal, because that canal is in their own country. Understand? So what Israel did, Israel invaded Egypt. Understand? And Britain and France bombarded Egyptian targets, which means that Britain, France, and Egypt, they fought. France, Britain, and Israel, they fought Egypt because of what Egypt says. Egypt wanted to block the way. Understand? But the problem is that as they are fighting this war, they bombarded Egypt. As they are fighting this war, the United Nations and the Soviet Union and the USA told them to stop the war and withdraw. As they told them to stop and withdraw, what does that mean? It means that Egypt has won because they were not able to take it away from Egypt. Understand? So why is this thing matter in our study? All these stories, talky, all this story, why is it matter in our study? Understand now? Number one thing is that you just have to know that politically, Egypt won the war in 1956, Suez Canal War. Egypt won that war. You know that the first war in 1948 was won by Israel, but the second war was won by Egypt, and Egypt take control of that Suez Canal. The president of Egypt then, I mentioned, I said, Gamal Abdel Nasser, became an hero in the Arab world. All Arab countries were seeing him as a hero because he was the first person that defeated the Jews. Understand? But Britain and France also lost their influence because they were seeing that if the Arabs were seeing that if Egypt can defeat Israel, France, and Britain, that means that the Britain and the France are not that powerful like that. Understand? This shows that the Middle East countries were no longer under the total control of the colonial masters. Understand? So this particular war is just about do not pass in our country again with your ship. Go and find another route to pass with your ship. But if they also say that if we don't pass in your country with our ship, it's going to cost us more money and more time. So because of that, they have to fight Egypt. But eventually, Egypt won the war because the United Nations and the Soviet Union and the USA asked them to stop the war, and they stopped the war and they withdraw themselves from the territory. Any question? That's the second war. We are done with the second war. Any question? Question? Are you here?
Yes, we are.
Thank you very much. Can I proceed?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Can I proceed?
Yes, please.
The third war. The third war is called... I'm coming. The third war is called the 6 Days War. The 6 Day War. The 6 Day War. The 6 Day War. The 6 Day War was fought in 1967. 1967, 6 Day War, 1967. This war was short and it was between...
Close my door.
This war was short and it was between... Let me move this person. It was between Israel and 3 Arab countries. That third war was between Israel and 3 Arab countries. You know, the first war was between Israel and 5 Arab countries. The second war was between Egypt and France, Britain, and Israel. While the third war is between Israel, and 3 Arab countries. The 3 Arab countries are Egypt, Syria, and Jordan. Egypt must be there. Egypt, Syria, and Jordan. These 3 countries fought a war against Israel. Understand? It lasted only 6 days. Only 6 days. But it changed the map of the Middle East. A 6-day war that changed the map of the Middle East. Now, let's talk about the background now. What led to the war? What led to the war? You see, after the 1948 war, the first war, and the 1956 war, Arabs still hated Israel because they felt it was built on a stolen land, which is the Palestinian land. So they still have that hatred against Israel. Understand? So Israel and its Arab neighbor, they did not like themselves. They did not, how they call it? They didn't trust themselves. They don't trust themselves. You understand? So the Egypt president, you know, in the second war, we mentioned that the Egypt President Gamal Abdel Nasser, we mentioned that he won the war, right? Because he won the war, he now has that lever now has that courage, that motivation that he can win, he can fight Israel. So that leader that has is the one that put them into problem of the third war. And so Egypt President Gamal Abdel Nasser wanted to show the Arab that they can stand on their own and fight Israel and the Western power. You understand now? So in May 1967, things got heated. I will explain the scenario so you can understand the story. Egypt as a country, understand, moved its army to Israel border. It's like, Nigerian has a border with Togo or Benin Republic. Let's say Nigeria now move its soldier to Togo border, crossing away Benin Republic. Understand now? So the Egypt moved its army to Israel border. And after that one, Egypt now told, number two thing is that Egypt told the United Nations peacekeeper to leave the area between them. Because after the first war and the second war, there was peacekeeper or United Nations peacekeeper people that were in the Middle East. But Egypt instructed them to leave that zone. You understand? That they should leave it, that they are going to sort their problem. The number three thing you need to know that heated that war is that Egypt now blocked the Gulf of Aqaba. The Gulf of Aqaba is like a major way, understand? So it's a major sea route. The first sea route we mentioned is the Suez, the canal. Another sea route is the Gulf of Aqaba. Aqaba is Aqaba. So the Gulf of Aqaba, they blocked that seaway again. The second war is because Egypt blocked
Can you
that.
please spell it again, please?
The Gulf. Gulf is a Gulf, Gulf of Aqaba. Aqaba is AQ, A for Alpha, Q for Quebec, A for Alpha, B for Bravo, A for Alpha. So AQABA.
Thank you.
So, the second war is because Egypt blocked the Suez, the canal. That is why they fought the first war, the second war. So the third war, Egypt now went to go and block the Gulf of Aqaba, cutting off Israel's sea route to Asia. That was a major sea route. If Israel wants to take anything from Israel to Asia, maybe from Israel to India, and it was very easier for Israel to move their product. Understand? But Egypt blocked that way. This made Israel feel trapped and threatened, because we are not fighting. You're just going to block that waterway. That means that maybe you are planning something against me. So Israel has sensed trapped. In the course we did yesterday, we said that leaders react to situation, they look at threat and opportunity. So in Israel, in this case of Israel, Israel has seen threat. So because Israel has seen threat, Israel did not think twice. Israel first launched an attack before anything will happen. Before you take me into surprise, let me just start first. Listen, let me drink water, please. Sorry. I'm sorry. So the war was from June 5 to June 10, 1967. June 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 6 days. That's what is there. They call it 6 days war. Understand? June 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 6 days war. Number one, the first day, what happened? First day, what happened? Israel made a surprise attack on Egypt Air Force. Israel made a surprise attack because Israel has sensed threats. You need to link this one to 803. MIAD 803. MIAD 803 tells us that leaders, once they see threat, they do calculation between threat and opportunity. So when they see threat, they react. They will not want to be threatened. Understand now? So they will not want in this case. Israel will not want Egypt to attack them first. So what Israel did is that Israel attacked the air force space of Egypt. Understand? They destroy almost all Egyptian plane. Understand? But when they did that one, understand? They moved to, how do you call? For the first thing is that as they clear of all Egyptian plane, that means that they are controlling the air. In Nigeria, Nigerian government sent its air force to Benin Republic. And so the air force they sent to Benin Republic is supposed to clear up all the terrorists or all the people all the military soldiers that want to take the coup d'etat. So it is believed that once you control the air, the soldiers that are down, they can continue their war. They will win the war. So Egypt first clear all the Egyptian Air Force planes. Understand? So that's number one. They control that part already. The next day what they did is that Israel quickly attacked, defeated Egypt because of that one. They defeated Egypt, and as they defeated Egypt, they took over that part of the land Egypt was taking from Palestine. Egypt also was controlling one part of the land that belongs to Palestine. So they took over the Sinai Peninsula. Listen, they took over the Sinai Peninsula, and then when they finished that one, they took over Sinai Peninsula, and when they finished that one, they went straight to Jordan. Israel went straight to Jordan, Fort Jordan, and captured the West Bank from Jordan also. Because I mentioned that in the second war, in the first war, in the first war, I mentioned that as 700,000 Palestinians were displaced, Jordan and Egypt, they share a part of the land of Palestine. So now they've been governing it just to protect it for Palestine. But in this third war, Israel took over that land from them. Israel took over the Sinai Peninsula from Egypt and took over West Bank. West Bank is a territory they took over from Jordan, and then they took over also the eastern Jerusalem. They took it from Jordan, and then they went straight to Syria, which means they defeated Egypt, they defeated Jordan. It means Syria. They went straight to Syria and captured the Golden Height. The Golden Height is an area, it's like a mountain area, very strategic. Understand that? So it is very strategic. When you are there, you can see your enemy from far. So they took that one from Syria. Understand? And in just less than 6 days, Israel defeated Egypt, Jordan, and Syria in 6 days rather. In 6 days. Now, the territory Israel occupied, by that one, as Israel is fighting the war, they have been expanding their territory. They are expanding their territory more than the 55% that was given to them initially. Understand? So after the 1967 war, Israel occupied some territory. Understand? From Egypt, they took some territory from Egypt. They took some territory from Jordan, and they took some territory from Syria. The territory they took from Egypt, understand? They took Sinai Peninsula and Gaza Strip. The reason why they took Sinai Peninsula and Gaza Strip from Egypt, you are back. What happened? You are done with your class?
Yes.
How many minutes was the class?
1 hour.
1 hour. So I've been talking like 1 hour now. Let me say I'll be talkative. I don't know that I'm talkative. So let's continue. So they took over some land from Egypt. They took over the Sinai Peninsula and the Gaza Strip from Egypt. Why did they take that two parts from Egypt? So the Sinai Peninsula and the Gaza Strip is known as a desert area. Understand? And that desert area is very, very rich in oil. It's very rich in oil. So they took that part from Egypt. That's two land. They took it from Egypt. Understand? The second in Jordan, Israel took the West Bank from Israel took the West Bank from Jordan and the eastern part of Jerusalem. They took the eastern part of Jerusalem. Why did they take that two parts from Jordan? So it is believed that the West Bank and the eastern part of Jerusalem is the major religious place of the Palestinian and the holy site, as we have the place of worship in Jerusalem. So they took it over from them. Why in Syria, Israel took over the Golden Heights. Golden Height is spelled Golden, and height. Understand? Height, like tall. Understand? Because it is a strategic place and a high ground for defense. From there, you can see your enemy. Understand? And Israel was given 55% of the land during the partition, the resolution 818, right? But due to this war, Israel has tripled the land that was given to them. You understand now? So Israel has tripled the land. And the consequences of this third war. Good evening, Ma. Do you want to ask a question? So the consequences of that war is that the Arab nation were humiliated because they lost the land to Israel. Understand? And Israel became, number two is that Israel became militarily stronger. That's number two. And over 1 million Palestinians fell under the control of Israel. Over 1 million Palestinians. In the first war, 700,000 were displaced. 807. Which 807? Which lecturer again?
Adejo Sunday. Adejo Sunday.
No, you can go if you're having Adejo Sunday. I think some people just enter now that they are back.
Those ones were 803. Modua.
Okay, you have 2 lectures this Friday.
Yes.
Oh, I don't know. You can go if you have the lecture.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So, as I was saying, over 1 million Palestinians fell under the control of Israel, and this led to the fourth war. Understand? The fourth war is Yom Kippur War. Understand? So you should know that the first war, Israel won the war. The second war, Egypt won the war. The third war, Israel won the war. And because 1 million Palestinians were displaced, they were under the control of Israel. That led to the fourth war. Understand now? Because they have the Arab nation has a deepened anger and desire to revenge what Israel did to them in the third war. Question and answer before I move to the fourth war. Question and answer before I move to the fourth war.
Please, can you repeat the consequences of the third war?
Number of consequences is that Arabs were humiliated. Because they lost a lot of land to Israel. Arabs were humiliated because they lost a lot of land to Israel. Number 2, Israel became militarily stronger. Understand? Because Israel have been sensing danger, so they need to be militarily prepared. Israel became militarily stronger. Number 3, over 1 million Palestinians were displaced and they were under the control of Israel. Understand? And this led directly to the fourth war, which is the Yom Kippur War. I think it's Yawmul Kippur. I don't know. It's an Arabic war, an Hebrew war. So the Yawmul Kippur, like, is a festival day. So Yom is the Y for Yankee, O for Oscar, and M for Mike. Yom, and Kippur is K for Kilo, I for India, P for Papa, U for Uniform, and R for Romeo. YOM KP double P KI double P UR war. That's the fourth war, right? The fourth war. See, the fourth war is because the Arab wanted to revenge
So,
Israel.
sorry, I have a question. Sorry, I mean.
Yeah.
So you said the Israel took over some lands from the Egyptian, then the Syria, that is the Golden Heights,
Yeah.
and the West Bank from Jordan. So what about the Suez Canal? Who is now control of
No,
it?
the Suez Canal is in Egypt. It's like in the
Okay,
central Egypt, not in.
oh,
You see, in the
okay,
first war,
okay. So
what? You want to say something?
the Israel could not take over that one.
No.
Okay, sorry. Okay, okay.
The reason why they took over this land I mentioned from Egypt, Jordan, and Syria is because, you see, when they fought the first war, 700,000 Palestinians were displaced. Understand now? So there was only few land left to Palestinians. That land were under the control of Jordan and Egypt, and another part was under the Syria. But because of that third war, Egypt took over that land from them. So that war was fought inside Palestinian territory, which is divided into Israel and Palestine. You understand? It was not fought in Egypt, or it was not fought in, understand? So, but the reason why they attacked Egypt military base is that Egypt can call on the military soldier to come on as a reinforcement. So the first went to go and attack them first. Understand? So that's it. So let's move to the fourth war. The fourth war. The fourth war is Yom Kippur, like Yom Kippur, the Yom Kippur War, which is YOMKIPPUR, and that's the fourth war. It was fought in 1973. 1973. That was when the war was fought. 1973. What is the causes of the war? The causes of the war. The number one cause you need to put in place is that the Arab states, Arab countries that are neighbors to Israel, especially Egypt and Syria, they wanted to regain the land they lost in the Third War, 1963, 1967. So they wanted to regain that land. That land is very important to them. They wanted to regain that land. Understand? That was one of the first causes. The second cause is that they also wanted to restore national pride. You know, they were humiliated in the Third War. So they wanted to regain back the national pride. You understand? Now, they also want to force Israel into negotiation. Like, if we fought Israel, Israel will come and we will negotiate and we will agree. But these are the three major causes. And the last cause is that because of the displaced Palestinians, because of millions of Palestinians were under the control of Israel, the Arab nation wanted to liberate them. Understand? So Egypt wanted back the peninsula, the Sinai Peninsula. Understand? As the Sinai Peninsula is very important, they are the oil part. Understand? The desert area and the oil part. Now, what happened in the Yom Kippur? How do you call day? Understand? That fourth war. What really happened? You see, the Muslim have a Ramadan festival. Understand? Christian have Christmas festival, right? The Jews have this festival, which they call the Yom Kippur festival. Understand? The Yom Kippur Day, the Yom Kippur Day. Understand? I don't know if I'm pronouncing well, but I've already spelled how it's written. So that day is the holiest day in the Jews' religion, in Judaism. Understand? It's the holiest day in Judaism. That day is like Muslim fasting. You see, when Muslims are fasting, they will not like to fight. They will not like to insult people. They will just day on their day, they pray. The same day, the same thing applicable to this day in Judaism. So it's the holiest day in Judaism. Egypt and Syria targeted that day to launch a surprise attack on Israel. Understand? They targeted that day to launch a surprise attack on Israel. So what happened is that they crossed the Suez Canal and have advanced to Sinai Peninsula. You know, the Sinai Peninsula was captured by Israel. So they went to Sinai Peninsula, understand? And Egypt went to Sinai Peninsula, Syria went to the Golden Heights, and they launched an attack on Israelites, like the Jews rather. Understand? Eventually, Israel pushed them back after every fight. Let me repeat it. A day whereby they don't fight normally, a day whereby the Jews don't fight, a day whereby they fast, they pray, they only look at God, they don't fight each other. That is the day the Egypt and the Syria fought them. So Egypt went to Sinai Peninsula, Syria went to the Golden Heights because that was the land they took over from them. So they launched an attack on them, but Israel eventually pushed them back to where they were coming from, which means that after they fought heavily, Israel pushed them back to where they come from. What was the result of that war? Understand? Even though the Israel pushed them back, they still, number one result is that the Arab army gained some dignity because they bombarded enough the Jews. Understand? So, but Israel realized that it was not like which word can I use? Invisible, which means that Israel is not the superpower in that zone, which means Israel can be defeated. So Israel, it makes Israel realize that they can also be defeated because they've been fighting war and they've been winning war. So they think that they are powerful. So, but this war make them to realize that no one is the superpower in this zone. They can also be defeated. Understand now? So, that one made Israel to set a stage for peace negotiation. You know, that was the intention of Egypt and Syria. They want negotiation. So, but that war made them to force them to go for peace negotiation. You understand? Now, the US and the USSR became heavily involved in this fourth war. Because the war was escalating, so they needed to be involved in this war and find a way they can solve this war and stop this war. So this war opened a door for the Camp David Peace Agreement. Camp David. Camp is C-A-M-P. Camp David Peace Agreement. So this war opened the floor for Camp David Peace Agreement of 1978 between Egypt and Israel. It was part of our quiz. So it come on the quiz. So this war make them to agree on some things. Understand now? So what did they agree on that Camp David Peace Agreement of 1978? Now, that agreement was between Israel and Egypt. You know, say now Egypt get wahala. Palestine that get wahala, say Palestine is not fighting too much. But Egypt has been fighting all the war. The first war, second war, third war, even the fourth war. Egypt have been fighting all that war. Now, what did they agree on that Camp David Peace Agreement? The number one thing they agree is that Israel will return Sinai Peninsula back to Egypt, which means that the land Israel took from Egypt, they are going to return it back to Egypt. That's number one. But in return, Egypt will officially recognize Israel. This is a game changer. You know, at the beginning, no Arab nation recognized Israel as a sovereign nation, as an independent nation. But because of the Camp David Peace Accord of 1978, they now force Egypt. They said, Egypt, if you want your land back, if you want the Sinai Peninsula back, you must recognize Israel as an independent nation. That is, it's like trade by barter. In negotiation, in diplomacy, there has to be something. If you want to negotiate something with a country, you have to put something forward to convince them. You understand? So Israel was willing to give them the Sinai Peninsula, but under the condition that Egypt must recognize them. Understand? So number three agreement in this accord was that both countries must stop hostility, which means that both Israel and Egypt must stop fighting. Understand? So this became the first peace treatment between the Arab world and Israel. That is the first agreement between the Arabs and Israel was the peace accord, Camp David peace accord of 1978. You understand? So this is about the fourth war. Question. If you have question, ask question, suggestion before I proceed. Question. I said I was talking about only 4 war. Question. So you have like 2 other war, the Hezbollah and the Lebanon war. Also, these are questions that comes in the quiz that we did. They talk about the Hezbollah and the Lebanon war. So question. No question. Okay. So what I want to do now is
do we have a quiz on this course? I didn't see any. Or who is your lecturer?
what?
Is there a quiz on this course?
Yeah, we did Dr. Saminu Idris.
Oh, okay. Mine is Professor Edgar. Thank you.
Just bear with me. I want to share something with you, so I'm checking for the thing I want to share. Just bear with me.
Sorry, please, have you spoken about the Yom Kippur War, 1973?
That's what we just finished now.
Okay.
You just join us.
No, I went away for that class, and then the class hasn't started, and now came back.
No, you will see the recordings. You will see the recordings. You just talk about it. But before you see the recording, is there anyone here that can just brief her what the war was all about? Who can volunteer to brief her? Who can volunteer?
Is it the fourth war?
Yeah, the fourth
No,
war.
the Yom Kippur, also known as Ramadan War.
That was the fourth war. Yeah.
Can I say the little I know about it?
Yeah, you can say it.
Okay, the Yom Kippur War is also known as the Ramadan War. To the Israelites, it was known
Not
as
Ramadan
Yom
war.
Dan. It's not Ramadan.
The Arabs called it Ramadan War because it was during the Ramadan.
No, let me explain. Thank you very much for talking. It's not Ramadan war.
Sorry, let me help you so that you know that we are following you now.
The Yom Kippur is the Israel that called it Yom Kippur due to a festival.
That is their holiest day.
Yes.
That is their own holiest day.
They call it Ramadan War because it was during the Ramadan period.
No,
it's not Ramadan. No.
It wasn't Ramadan.
It's not Ramadan. What you call Ramadan is still it's likened to the celebration of the
Muslim. You understand? Ramadan is for the Muslim.
It was just an example.
You just used it as an example. Like Christmas.
Sorry, that was what our own lecturer said. I don't know if anybody
As on one of the textbooks, though, they referred to it as Ramadan.
The reason why they refer to it as Ramadan,
it was like an example.
Let me say something, please. So the Yom Kippur is a day when the Jew fast. Also now,
yes, is a holy.
Let me just say something, please. So it's a day whereby the Jew fast for 24 hours. That's the holiest day in the Jews' religion. So you cannot call, because it is fasting, you cannot call it Ramadan.
No. Why I said, because our lecturer said it was that period was during Ramadan period. So the Arab called it Ramadan War. Not that it was also called.
He said in the lecture class.
I'm not arguing with you.
Yes.
I'm not arguing with you, but what I'm trying to let you know is that when you say Ramadan is linked to the Muslim fasting.
Yes.
You know, the Christian have the fasting also. They have the way they call
Yes.
it. Understand now? So the
Yes.
Muslims have their fasting. The Jews also have their own. You understand? So when you say Ramadan fasting, is you are linking into the Muslim fasting.
Okay, I'm not linking it. Maybe it's the way I said it.
So it is is the holiest day where they fast, where they call the Yom Kippur, but they fast for 24 hours, understand now? And they go to the synagogue to pray, understand? So as Muslim will go during Ramadan, we go to the mosque, we pray. The Christian will go to the church. They also go to the synagogue to pray. Understand? But not, you can Google it as we are talking and just check if they will say Ramadan on Google. Understand? They will not do Ramadan on Google.
No, sorry, it was based on what our lecturer explained.
I
That was why.
understand. Yeah, I
Not
understand.
what Dr. Edgar explained. So can I continue saying the little I know about it? Okay. So it was the 1973 war was also known as the Yom Kippur War, and it came as a result of at the end of the August 1967 war. That was the 6-day war, where Israelites defeated the Arabs in 6 days. The Arabs were not settled, so they went to the capital of Sudan, known as Khartoum, in response to the war to discuss the Arabs' position towards Israel. And they reached an agreement, and these agreements are known as the three no's. And these three no's were that there was no good, that Israel will not be recognized, there will be no peace, and then there will be negotiation with Israel, with the Israelis, with the Israel nations. So this is known as the three no's with the state of Israel. So so in 1979, Egypt initiated the War of Attribution. I don't know if it's attribution or attribution. Please, I don't know if I'm saying it correctly.
Are we saying the same thing? But continue. I'm listening to you. Let's continue.
Okay. So they initiated the War of Attribution with the goal of exhausting Israel like they wanted to defeat Israel. Like they want to exhaust them into surrendering the Sinai Peninsula.
I don't know whether we are saying. I don't know whether we are saying the same thing, but continue. I'm listening to you.
Really? Okay. So I'm just talking based. I'm just summarizing based on what Edgar.
Your notes. Okay. Continue.
Okay. So they said the war. If you guys should come in here. Sorry, please about that. So the war ended following the Gamal Nasser's death in 1970.
Okay.
After the Sudan meeting, Gamal Nasser was still ruling Egypt. He introduced a kind of these tactics he introduced for Israel to occupy Sinai, to weigh the Israeli troops. So they surrounded Sinai, but he died in 1970. So hence, that's the little I know. That's what I want. I didn't want.
Thank you very much. It's just like you are adding an addition to it, but let me just come in to what I know about it. Understand? We are here to learn. Understand? Nobody's an island of knowledge. So what I mentioned regarding the war is that the war. I talk about the causes of the war, the result of the war, and the consequences and the agreement that occur there. This is agreement. So I will repeat myself again. Please, can you mute yourself? Please, kindly mute yourself, please. This person.
Say what I know, Mr. Abdul.
What? What's this person? Is that Deola?
Hello, Mr. Abdul. Can I say what I know? Can I?
Yeah, you can talk.
Okay, so the causes of the war, why the fourth war occurred, was because there was an unresolved territorial issue between the Israelites and the Palestine.
Okay.
So then the Arabs, they wanted to regain their pride due to what the Israelites did to them. Then they wanted to force Israel into a peaceful negotiation. So that was what came about the war.
Okay.
Then what happened during the war?
They also wanted to regain the lost territory, lost land.
Their lost lands, yes. Okay, so then what happened during the war? Egypt and Syria launched a surprise attack on Israel during their holy day because they know that they can't do anything during that day, that they will be weak. So they launched a surprise attack on them. And then Egypt first crossed the Suez Canal and took over some parts. Then Syria to also attack.
Took over, attack Sinai area.
Yes. Then Syria to also attack and took over the Golan Heights and the West Bank.
Jordan took back the West Bank.
No.
Continue.
Okay, then Israel was caught off guard and they suffered heavy loss due to the impromptu attack. Then what else? US was supplying Israel with some help. Then whereas the Soviet Union too were supplying Arabs with some help due to the war. Okay, then from my own, then the outcome, that's the consequences of the war. Am I here?
Yeah, we are listening to you. We are here to learn.
Okay, so then the outcome, that's the consequences. Okay, then and the Arabs regained their dignity and some part of their land. Then the war ended in a peaceful negotiation, which included the Camp David agreement that was done in the
okay. Continue. I was done.
Okay. The agreement came about in 1978, where Egypt recognized, where Egypt regained Sinai.
Yeah.
Okay. Then also, it also triggered the Arab embryo, reshaping global economy.
Okay.
Yes. Then Israel regained military advantage, but they suffered heavy loss.
When Egypt got the Sinai Peninsula, what was
What was what?
Somebody wants to say something. I think somebody wants to say something on the ground.
Because I'm trying to understand if maybe my understanding of the Fourth War is different from what almost everybody is saying. So I'm trying to understand because the Suez Canal was denied. It was denied.
So the Suez Canal is different from the Fourth War.
Yeah,
The Suez Canal is
different because it's different because that will be Second War. Suez Canal will be Second War. And the Fourth War is the festival one and it wasn't peaceful because Israel after some days attacked them back and he got all the lands back. So except if I'm not
they later did the what do you call the Camp David Agreement of 1978.
Yeah, that was later. That was in 1978, right?
Yeah.
The Camp David was later. It was it was after all the stuff that we now did the Camp David, where they agreed that Egypt will recognize Israel and the peninsula will be given back to
each person, the land back for each person. Yeah.
Thank you very much for all your contributions.
Because I kind of feel like we are modeling things up. We are putting everything together.
Yeah, thank you very much for all your contributions. That's why we are here to learn. So everybody is going to give his own point of view. Thank you very much. Now, you see, I don't know whether you can see my screen. I intentionally share this screen for you to go over it. So I want you to go over questions that are related to what we did this night in this first page. This first page. Which of these questions talks about what we did this night?
I think number one.
What is number one saying?
Describe the factors that made Egypt win the 1998 war.
I think number 3.
And number 3 again, and number 3.
Okay. Now, who will now answer the number one for us? Come on, someone should answer number one for us.
Number one, describe factors that
Somebody should answer number one for us.
Number one.
What? Who answer number 1 for us? Everybody's silent.
Trying to check the question. Explain the factor that made the Jews win in the 1948.
Yeah. I think I shared this past question and answer with you, right?
Yes, I think.
What made them to win that war?
What made them to win was because 5 countries were engaged in the war, which was Jordan, Egypt, Iraq, Lebanon. Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, that helped.
What made them to win? No one to answer or no one to bail us?
I'm coming.
Okay.
So I wanted to ask, so this number 1, this is the Independence War, right?
Yeah. The first war. They are not asking us that what made them to win the first war. You know, we said they won the first war. Egypt won the second war. Egypt won the second war, the third war. So what made them to win the first war?
It was a
Okay, sorry, let me try.
You okay? You can just give your idea based on your understanding. That's all I need.
It was a
Okay.
surprise attack.
No.
And
I want to
the
think that they had
Jews
military strength.
were very strategic in their ways.
Thank you very much.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Continue. We can hear you. Continue. I thought you were speaking.
Okay, I would say because they had superior organization and preparation.
Okay.
They have external support from other states.
They have external support, yeah.
Yes. Then they had high morale and identity motivation. Then weakness and disunity. There was weakness and disunity among the Arab states, so which gave them upper hand.
Mm-hmm.
Am I okay?
Yeah, you're okay.
Then they had effective leadership and strategy.
Sure. They were better organized than the Arabs.
Yes. Then they had demographic and settlement advantage.
Yeah, that place they are is very advantageous, and so from their own position, they have more advantages to fight back the war. So anybody to add his own view to it? Anybody to add his own view or idea to it?
They had more experience, more discipline, and more training, and then they also had financial support from other from the others. They supported them financially, yes.
Okay.
And then of course they already said that the Arab armies were divided, so it helps them as well. It was to their advantage.
So here we talk about military power, strategic location, external support, and the division among the Arab nations. So you do not develop the point based on your understanding.
Yes.
So you develop your point based on your understanding. Okay. Now look at the number 3 now. Question number 3. They said describe the factor that led to the Suez Canal crisis of 1956. Please, if you off your mic, please can you off it, please? There's someone that is making noise there. So, question number 3. Can anyone answer that one? Describe the factor that led to that crisis of 1956. That is Second War. Any question? Anyone to answer that? Okay, try.
Okay, so the Suez Canal was the man-made waterway, which was in Egypt, and the president, I think Abdul Nasser, I don't know if I'm right,
Jamal Abdel Nasser.
felt that because the waterway was located in his country, he should or they should be the one to control it. And by controlling it, they blocked the passage or routes for Israel, business routes for Israel, and that made Israel very angry, and that was what caused the war.
Okay. So, anyone to add his own point to it?
Okay, so the Suez Canal is
Okay.
like a shortcut. It is like a shortcut to link Asia, Africa, and Europe. So globally, it is the best highway for ships to cut costs while moving from one country to the further. Hello.
Yeah, we are with you. Continue. We are with you.
So President Gamal, yes, of Egypt, wanted to take over the Suez Canal because it was in his territory.
Okay.
So the Britain and the France were against this, and
Why?
it took because it is easy pass for them to link different countries. So they were against. I don't know if I'm saying the right, but I think I am.
Continue. We are enjoying you.
So, so they were against Gamal Abu Nasser from taking over the territory. So any ship that passes through the route usually pays tax to France. So I think that was how France also joined the fight, right?
Okay. That's your point. That's your point. We love it. Anyone,
Okay,
any other ones to add to it?
Okay.
So, okay.
Who wants to
Okay,
talk?
so from my own point of view,
Okay.
Egypt and Jordan, they moved their troops near the Israel border. That's one of the things that caused the war. Am I right?
The second war?
No, that's
the Suez Canal War. The Suez Canal War.
Okay, the Suez Canal War.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, let me add to what she said. What she said. I think what happened was because USA it was the 6-day war.
The
right?
Suez Canal War.
Yeah.
No.
Suez Canal is not 6-day war.
Okay, sorry. Okay, yeah. Oh, I mistaken.
Okay, we are here to learn, so I love the way you are interacting.
I think the war was majorly between Egypt, France, and Britain before Israel now joined later.
Okay.
And France and Britain were angry with the decisions of Abu Gamal because that part brought taxes for them.
Thank you.
So if he blocks
Yes,
it,
it's true.
there will be no more tax.
Thank you.
So US was in support.
Thank you. So you said US was in support. US was in support of which country?
The US was in support of Egypt. So and that made them to win the war, right? To win
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
to win the war. And I think that was what led to that was what gave Abdul Gamal morale to go for the fourth war. That was what led to even the Yom War.
Yeah.
The fourth
So
war.
you see, the reason I'm asking you to give your opinion regarding this is, you see, this is story. You need to have an idea of the story. Even if you're in an exam and you forget some parts, if you remember the story, you can develop half a page with your story. You understand? So that's why I just want your own contribution. Please, let's look at the second page now. No, before we go, look at the number 6, question number 6. Question number 6. Can anyone answer that question number 6? I think we discussed it this night. Question number 6.
Yes. I think one of the things you said was about Israel being created as part of the Zionist movement, if I can remember.
As a Zionist movement, okay.
Yes. And you said the Zionist movement is a movement of the Jews returning back to their ancestral home. Something like that.
Yeah, continue. It's not something like that. You are right.
Okay. And I don't know if I'm remembering it, but I know you mentioned Balfour Declaration, if I'm pronouncing it right.
Yeah, Balfour Declaration.
Yes. So you said the British promised to support the Jews to create a Jewish state.
Who is this person that is
The
not
Balfour Declaration.
Ibiadot now? Continue.
Okay, and I don't know. I think that's basically what I can remember for now.
Is that how they created Israel?
I think it was due to the discovery of oil.
Okay, you have
right.
You have a point.
And it was created in 1948.
Okay, that's a point.
And this was propelled by the Zionist movement.
Okay.
Amongst the Jews, which their mandate was to ensure that the Jews returned to the ancestral home, which was originally in Palestine.
Okay.
And establish a Jewish state which will be known just for the Jews.
Yeah.
And from there, it moved to 1947, where they divided the land amongst the Palestine, where Israel got 55% and Israel got 45%.
Where did they divide the land? They divided it somewhere, and there is one resolution they mentioned there.
I think I missed that.
Can anyone bail her? Which resolution divided the land? What?
181.
Thank you very much. Resolution 181. That's where they divided during the United Nations meeting. They divided the land, and how many percentage was given to Israel and Palestine?
55%
was given 55% and Palestine 45%.
So that means you all have an idea about these three questions that is in this first page. So, and they say you should answer 4 questions. So if you have an idea about these 3 questions, at least if they don't give you 12.5 over 12.5, they should be able to give you at least 10 to 9. Yes, and so the idea you have, you should be able to know how to extensively explain that idea. You understand? So I love the way all of you are contributing. Please, let's look at this one now. Which of these questions talks about what we did this night?
The Suez Canal crisis.
Where's that?
Number 1.
Number 4.
Number 4.
The Suez Canal.
The number 1. Which crisis for that number 1?
That's 6 days.
6-day war.
6-day war. So you see, they did not mention 6-day war, but they just mentioned the date. So the date is also important. So the 6-day war, the Suez Canal war, and which one did they mention here that we didn't talk about? I didn't talk about the Israel-Lebanon war and the Hezbollah war. I didn't talk about it. So I asked you to go and read that one. So can anyone talk about the 6-day war? Can anyone talk about the 6-day war? The significance.
Significance or what brought about it? Okay, so the Arabians were humiliated because they lost a lot of land to the Israelites, and then the significance is that the Israelite became militarily stronger, and over 1 million Palestinians were displaced, and they were all under the control of the Israel. And because of this, it led to the fourth war.
Okay, thank you for your contribution. Is there anyone that can contribute to it also?
Okay, so after the Second World War, Arabs
Second World War.
Israel. I'm sorry.
Okay.
The Suez
So
Canal.
the Suez Canal, Arabs still hate Israel. They don't trust Israel. Am I correct? So also Egypt President Gamal Abdul Nasser wanted to show other nation that they are powerful. So in 1967, Egypt moves its army to the Israel border, and Egypt told the UN peacekeepers to leave the Middle East, that they will resolve the issue themselves. Also, the Egypt blocked the Gulf of Al-Akbar. I can't remember. Sorry. I think it's still the Suez Canal something. Sorry, that's all I can remember for now. Thank you.
So, anyone to add to it, please?
So let me see if I can add anything.
So on the 5th of June 1956, Israel launched a preventative airstrike against Egypt, which destroyed most of their air forces, so they were not able to attack when they were being attacked. Then Israel Grand Force advanced into Sinai Peninsula and took it from Egypt. Then the force secured most parts of the West Bank from Jordan. Then Israeli force turned the force turned attention northward. Then they launched a major attack against Syria. Then which positioned and took possession of the Golan Heights.
Okay.
Then they took their land. That's after the war. Then they also took the West Bank from Jordan. They took the Golden Heights from Syria, and they also took the Gaza Strip from Egypt. Then they took the East Jordan and they took the East Jerusalem from Jordan.
Okay, thank you. So now let's look at. I don't know whether you can see my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes, you can see it.
So let's look at this part now. Account for Palestinian challenges with Israel. Palestinian challenges in Israel.
Okay.
What have been the challenges of Palestinians with Israel?
I think it first started when they were given 45%.
The land disputes.
Of the
land.
Inequality, bad treatment.
You cold? Sorry. Yeah, I'm listening to you. Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you. Okay, so from the accounts, it was due to the land disputes. Then also they became refugee. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay, that's the Palestine. They became a refugee in their own land. Then they were not settled because the Israelites that they even helped. They had their own independence. Why they didn't have that among the challenges. Am I on track?
Yeah, you're on track.
Okay, then they had security issue. Abi?
Yeah.
Am I?
So land dispute, you mentioned land dispute, you mentioned security issues,
yes.
You mentioned being refugees.
Yes. Then border. There was no border settlement.
Yeah, no border settlement.
Yeah. Then Jerusalem was not being owned by any of the states.
Okay.
Is it part of it?
Yeah, it's still a challenge because the Palestinians believe it's their property.
Yes.
Mr. Azeez, please charge your phone.
It's giving 10 minutes, so I will just stop now. I'll just stop. Thank you. Now, see, thank you. Let me just.
Sorry, can I add to it?
Yeah, you can add to it. Let me stop.
Okay, then I think one of the challenges, I think they believe the world, like the superpower are behind Israel. In instant, and then okay, yeah, the land disputes, they've said it. So and another thing is like the land was supposed to be shared maybe 50-50. So I think part of the challenges they are having, especially the external forces being behind Israel.
Thank you very much. So you see, as I said, this is about story, and in story, the best way you can account for that story is going to determine how your mark is going to be. Understand now? So if you are very good in accounting for it, you see, everybody just give his own idea, suggestion, or answer regarding this question, and that the way you put it works. You understand? But know how to develop that story. You understand? So that's what we just need to do. Tomorrow we'll proceed with past question and answer of 805. Although tomorrow we'll start with module 3 first. Understand now? We'll start with module 3 of 805, and then after that, we'll 1 hour to the end of the class. We'll continue with past question and answer. So that's what we are going to do tomorrow. I want to stop now because my phone is battery is low. If you have any question, you can ask me question, observation, suggestion, or advice before we end this tonight class.
Sorry, my network cut off. I didn't really hear what you said.
I said tomorrow we'll start with module 3 of 805, and then to the 1 hour to the end of the class. Tomorrow is Saturday, so 1 hour to the end of the class, we'll continue with past question and answer. So if you have suggestion, advice, or observation, you can let me know before we end this class.
I have a question.
Okay.
Yeah, so can we, based on the challenges of Palestine with Israel, can we also conclude that refusal of the Israelites to acknowledge Palestine as a state is another challenge?
Yeah, it's a challenge because you see, it's not the Israelite that will even recognize Palestine. It's the international community.
Yeah, international as well, yes.
It's the international community that will recognize. Yes, sir, now. Because even if Palestine declare itself as an independent state, if the international community doesn't recognize it. Yes, sir, now. So recently they voted for Palestine to be recognized, but up to now it has not been upheld. Yes, sir, now. So it's a challenge also. They've been facing since 1948. So it's what you see. As I said, it depends on how you can develop your points. Understand now? The challenges might be more based on your own understanding. Understand? So how you will develop it is going to matters most. And it's 12.5 marks. So if you want to get all the 12.5 marks, if it's me, I will list 6 points. You understand that? And I will explain all the 6 points.
You will list 8 cents.
So that at least even if you are giving me one per point, or you are giving two per point, if I'm not scoring 12.5, I should be closer to 12.5. Yes, it's just a technique in the exam. So if they ask you, like, you check the question is 12.5 over 12.5, and you want to score closer to it, or you want to score everything, just list your point in a way that even the invigilator will give you like 1.5, 2. After adding everything together, you get your mark. Yes, so it depends on how you can explain it better.
Okay, thank you.
Any other question? Let me stop the recording.